All right. Wait.
I think you've had enough.
Let me take a sip of my genius juice.
For me, it's swearing juice.
Welcome everybody to the Media Lunch Break, where we give you all of your comic, geek, and movie news all in the time it takes to eat a good sandwich and have yourself a nice slice of pumpkin pie cheesecake. I am Chris Treble. Alongside me, as always, is my co-host Andrew Dunn. Say hello, Andrew.
Cheers.
Yeah, all right. So we're talking Logan this fine evening, afternoon, morning, whenever the hell you people listen to this.
The guy or the movie?
I would assume it's going to be a little bit of both.
All right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so for those of you who missed it somehow, really, if you're listening to this podcast, you didn't miss it.
If you were on Mars.
If you were on Mars, you missed it, maybe. By now, you've probably gotten it. A trailer for the new X-Men... the X-Men...
I told you, you'd had enough.
I've never had enough. I don't care what you or my sponsor says. I have never had enough. The trailer for the new X-Men movie, Logan, has come out. Mm-hmm. This is reportedly, supposedly, Hugh Jackman's last go as Wolverine. Do you believe that to be true?
I believe it is the last time we will see him say more than 10 lines as Wolverine.
All right, that's a fair idea. I believe it is the last time he thinks he's going to play Wolverine. I agree with that. I think he's going to do cameos,
like X-Men Apocalypse, where he was sort of
even less.
Did you see X-Men Apocalypse?
I did.
Less.
I'm going to say even. I mean, he didn't say words, but he had like full action sequences.
Sure.
But because what he said is. That's kind of the reason he's leaving, is that he can't do that anymore. He's, I want to say late 40s?
Yeah, probably.
I think he's late 40s. And every time...
It's a lot of upkeep.
If you've seen... I mean, if you watch all of those X-Men movies back to back, I mean, this is how we discovered Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
I say we, like the American people, kind of the mass audience.
Certainly nerds.
Yeah, certainly nerds. Discovered Hugh Jackman. He was a big musical guy. He was a big theater guy.
Yeah.
And he was, I think, a TV star in Australia. A TV or movies.
Everyone's a TV star in Australia.
That's true. But the American audience, really in a big bad way, was introduced to him as this character. Mm-hmm. And if you watch those movies back to back, he gets... more jacked.
I was gonna say he gets younger.
He gets, yeah, I mean, in a sense, yeah. Like, in the face, he gets older, and in the body, he looks more and more, more younger.
Yeah. And
just jacked beyond belief every single time out.
Huge jacked man.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he is.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, I try and push myself further every time I play this character. And this is one of the... I'm going off on a slight tangent on this. But one of the things that is kind of admirable about Hugh Jackman is that he's never forgotten that this character is where he started.
Yeah.
And so every time he goes out, he's like, I'm going to do it bigger and badder than I did the last time.
Yeah.
And now that he's... if he's not over 50, he's pushing 50.
Sure.
Like, his body can't keep up. He's like, I can't keep doing this. So
and especially he can't keep playing a person who doesn't age.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the hard part.
That is the hard part. And doesn't, and heals instantly, because he sure as hell does not.
Yeah. People are going to notice when he's covered in bruises in the next movie.
Exactly. So
and varicose veins.
Yeah, he has said this is his last go around. I think you're right. I don't think we're going to have kind of the same way they try and put Stan Lee in every Marvel movie. They've kind of put Hugh Jackman into every X-Men movie.
I think at minimum there will be, like, I'm sure the plan is to continue making these X-Men movies the same way they've continued making the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, where if this continues for another 20 years, let's say, God forbid, he'll play another character. He'll be an older man. He's going to go off and do his own thing. At minimum,
right.
He will 20 years down the road be he'll be 70 and or whatever, and he'll play another character.
He'll play something else,
and
it'll be a nice little
It'll
nod
be a clerk. Yeah.
It would be as if Sean Connery were to cameo into James Bond.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But he is, I like I was saying, I think that he can show up as Logan. I don't think he'll show up in every movie, but I think every once in a while they'll throw him in, give him a line or two. The same way he was in an X-Men First Class, where they walk into a bar and he's like at the bar.
Exactly.
I don't think they'll give him the Apocalypse thing where he has no lines but all action.
Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, this Logan trailer came out. It is supposed to be his last go around. And I just wanted to kind of get some reaction on it from you. Overall, okay, first impression when you first saw this trailer.
Very first impression.
Yeah.
Hurt is too good of a song to use for this trailer.
Okay. Really?
Yes. Again, so to me, we talked about this the last half episode.
Right.
You asked me to summarize my feelings on the trailer. Probably good. Pretty good. Probably good. That song, all I want to do is sing that song. I don't even want to watch whatever they're showing because I love that song so much. That song is further than a classic. And this is a small tangent, and if you don't like Johnny Cash, I mean, you're wrong, but I get it. So like this song, for people who know this song, is, I mean, it supersedes anything that we could possibly see in this trailer. So I think it's a poor choice. I think they could have used another Johnny Cash song.
Right.
I Hung My Head would have been a good one. Basically any like somber Western song would have been a good choice. But Hurt is so distinctive.
It is distinctive.
And means something incredibly powerful and unique to every person watching it.
All right, I will grant you that.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought it was a really inspired choice, if only for the reason that it sets this movie tonally.
But see, that's what I mean.
Apart from all of the other,
you could do that with another song. You could do that. Do you know the song I Hung My Head?
Yeah,
that one would fit just as well.
Yeah, that's fine. But I like. First of all, the Johnny Cash version of Hurt is a very cinematic version with that driving note and everything.
Agreed.
I think it fits really well. I mean, trailers have been using that song since it came out.
Then I would say that I think it would have been a better choice to take the master track of the instrumental part and not have him singing over it.
Okay, that's fair.
Because all I do is listen to that song. I had to watch the trailer twice because I was like, oh yeah, I fucking love that song.
But see, I do love that song, and I really loved. I mean, it's not going to change how I feel about this. It's not like I'm now going to listen to that Johnny Cash song and only think of, oh, this is a song they used in the Logan trailer.
I'm nearly certain you just said Johnny Cash thong.
Didn't he wear those?
I mean, we may never know.
I think somebody knows.
June Carter. So we, but that's the thing is that I think if I didn't have to watch it for this podcast, I would have seen it once. And at the end of the first one, I was like, oh yeah, some stuff happened. What's it about? Oh yeah, Patrick Stewart was in it. But I was like, all I really remembered is that the song Hurt was in it. Okay. And I had to watch it again and sort of push the song away so that I could focus on what was happening.
All right, so once you push the song away.
Right.
Thoughts on the actual trailer itself?
I'm terrified by the fact that there is a child co-star.
Okay.
Look.
By the way, it should be noted, I actually have a story about that I didn't include in the news podcast because I wanted to
save it for this.
It is confirmed she is X-23.
I saw that as well.
Okay.
And that's good.
There were 22 attempts to clone Logan.
Oh, okay.
And then she was the 23rd attempt. And she was successful, so that's where she got her name. She has strength, reflexes, agility, and a healing factor. The differences are has only two claws on her hands and an extra that can be popped out of each of her feet.
Ugh.
I don't know how that works. And currently she's actually Wolverine.
Yes,
she took over the mantle
in the new
after,
one. That's right. But I'm not she's older. She's not a child.
Yeah, in the comics, she is now aged.
Well, even then, I mean, the X-23 that I know is a grown woman. So I'm not sure if this is from something that I'm just not aware of, but every rendition I know is a grown woman.
Right.
So that terrifies me.
Why?
Because I have never seen an action movie that has a child co-star that has been good.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of an action movie, and specifically, that is kind of renowned for a good child co-star. I'll try and somebody tweet us back.
Yeah, please.
If you can think of one, we're gonna. I know.
And Iron Man 3 sucked preemptively.
Wow.
Don't say that
good call on that one. I mean, not good call. I liked Iron Man 3. It wasn't. I mean, it's okay.
It's the worst one.
I think 2 is the worst one.
All right, that's a topic for another episode.
Yeah. But okay, that's a good one. All right, let me kind of set. If you're gonna tweet us about this, it has to be a movie where the child is in it and actually has like something to do with the action of the movie.
See, I think as long as the child is in at least 2/3 of the film, it counts.
Okay.
Because that just is death.
Right. All right. So I get that.
So that worries me.
Right.
All right, I guess I'm going through the bad stuff first. Because I definitely, there's some good stuff in here. Some of it looks really good. Some of it I'm mostly concerned.
All right.
I don't think it looks bad. But I'm just, especially after X-Men Apocalypse, which was probably the worst one since the reboot.
I would definitely agree with that.
It was still fine. I actually really enjoyed Apocalypse. I think that the scene with Quicksilver is worth the ticket price alone.
Here's the thing about those scenes. They're always worth the ticket price.
Exactly.
And that's great and all, but I don't... It's now getting formulaic. Like, this followed the exact format of Days of Future Past. And Days of Future Past, I thought was brilliant.
Agreed. But you could have just watched Days of Future Past again.
Could have totally done that.
Yeah.
And been more than happy.
So, yes. So I am... they need to bring this... Spike it back up.
Right.
Because they've only gotten worse since Days of Future Past.
Right.
Or,
Apocalypse.
Well, no. First Class. I think Days of Future Class was good.
Days
but I
of
think
Future
it was
Past.
What did I say?
You said Days of Future Class.
Look, I've had too much to drink.
Yeah.
So,
and you were getting on me.
I know I was.
Yeah.
So I think First Class, in my opinion, is actually the better one. Days of Future Past is slightly worse. Apocalypse is slightly worse than the two before it.
Really?
We're going on a steady climb down. I just need him to spike it back up. And to be fair, Hugh Jackman is a good way to do that. So is Patrick Stewart. They're both just gold. So I want this to be good. I'm optimistic, but I am concerned.
All right, since you brought up Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart together, I want to talk about tone.
Okay.
Because you have two highly regarded actors. Hugh Jackman, Academy Award nominee. Granted, it's for Les Mis, but still.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. He's great.
Sir Patrick Stewart.
Certainly. Certainly.
By the way, I've met him before. Did I ever tell you that story?
Oh, yes.
That's a long story, and I won't do it on mic, but I've met him, and he's a very nice man, and he's awesome. But you have these two really good actors. I want to talk about tone when you bring up the two of them. So what do you think? This is a different tone than I've ever seen in an X-Men movie. I mean, if you were to watch this trailer and without the obvious things of Wolverine's claws comes out of his hands, this doesn't look like an X-Men movie.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
It doesn't. It barely looks like a sci-fi movie. It barely looks like an action movie.
I mean, it certainly looks like a sci-fi movie. There are shots.
But that's what I mean. There are certain. When I say barely, like there are certain shots. Yes, there's a man with a bionic hand. And things
no, sure. I was actually going to say the shot of the police coming in the Rovers is almost straight from E.T.
Oh yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
That's clearly like the government coming to take something away.
Of what I'm saying is think of the X-Men Apocalypse trailer and how heavily that relied on. Yes. We got all these
action,
amazing special effects.
Yes.
Now think of this trailer.
Yes.
And the biggest action piece in that entire trailer is Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman driving in a fucking Tahoe.
No, there's a part where, well, you say minus the claws, right?
Right.
So, sure, but there is a part where he almost stabs a guy, and then there's a part where he's running through the woods and jumps 10 feet in the air.
I mean, he does the classic Wolverine
You can say, without all the action, there's no action in this trailer.
But what I'm saying is that without the obvious Wolverine moments of him jumping with the claws.
But that's kind of what I mean, is that, like, okay, yes, without the things that are in the trailer, it looks like a different kind of trailer.
But that's really but even watching this trailer, that's 2 moments.
Okay.
There's the one where he cocks his fist and the claws come out.
Yes.
And there's the other one where he's running through the woods and he jumps with his
There's
claws.
also an international trailer.
There's a red band where he stabs a guy in the head. And there is a brief shot of him like blocking something with his claws. Which
is X-23's claws.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler alert.
No. But other than those, I'm going to say 3 moments, depending on which trailer you watch. That's it. And there's a lot of stuff. I mean, this is a 2.5 minute trailer.
That's valid. Here's another thing that concerns me. And I want it to be good. I'm rooting for it. Right. I will see it probably in the first week, probably not opening night. But what concerns me about the tone is it feels like they said, wow, Mad Max Fury Road did really well. Okay. Why don't we make a post-apocalyptic desert X-Men movie? Which and I'm not saying that's what happened, or even that I think that that's what happened, because I don't. But I do think that there was some influence by Mad Max and its popularity to make a movie in a similar tone. Okay. Fair.
Then this is just me, like, just asking you a bunch of questions just to bounce things off. But we've talked a lot about, and they've talked in the media a lot about the fact that this is based on, loosely, obviously, based on Old Man Logan. Go on.
All right. I was just gonna say I'm so offended that people keep saying that because there is nothing.
But that's like that's why I said loosely. I mean,
nothing. He's older.
Yeah,
he's an old man.
So what I want to say,
it's not based on Old Man Logan. He is Old Man Logan.
Right. So what I want to say to that effect, is, now that we've seen the actual trailer. Give me some thoughts on what you think the actual somewhere close to what the plot of this movie is.
So Logan has been living alone. It doesn't seem like he has a family. I'm willing to bet his family has already been killed. He probably tried to have a family. They're already dead. He's living alone in like a trailer or something. Patrick Stewart, Professor X.
Same diff.
Yeah. Who was long thought to be dead, is just senile. He was in hiding, and he, while in hiding, was hiding the last known mutant. Or at least a mutant with perhaps the ability to create more mutants in some way. That's my guess. But there's something about her that makes the government want to put an end to her.
Right.
So he's been hiding her. He's losing his faculties. He needs someone else to help. I know. How about that guy who never gets old? Okay. So he goes out looking for Logan, and obviously he's a telepath, so he finds him immediately. Right. Finds him, says, hey, I've got this person. She's a lot like you, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Lot like you. Right. Lot like you. Maybe even genetically, if you get my meaning. Do you get my meaning, Logan? Do you get it? Because she's a shh.
I didn't say a thing.
Nope. Here, let me telepath it to you.
Yeah. And then he just screams at his face, she's a mutant!
He's like, did I do that right?
I can't tell. I'm senile.
And then they run from... Oh, and I think they probably have a... God, I could write this. I'm sure this is what happens. So then they probably have tea or whatever Logan has in his place, grits or whatever, in his trailer. They're talking about it for a little while. And then, oh no, the government's here. And they have to run out. And they run out He's like, I've got a secret way out. And then they run out the back way. Then they hide out for a little while. And they're trying to make it to... I don't know. I got the feeling that like they've got to make it...
To Tijuana. It's just where they go.
Oh yeah, so there's got to be a goal, right? There's got to be a place that they're going to. So maybe they're looking for a safe haven of some kind, a place that, Book of Eli actually comes to mind. I don't know if you ever saw that movie.
No, but I know.
It's very similar, post-apocalyptic. The suit's trying to transfer an object from point A to point B. That's the whole plot. So I wonder if there's a place that they can take this girl where she will be safe.
Okay.
And that's the whole point. I've heard tell, Logan, of a place where she'll be safe.
I agree with you on all points except
I haven't finished yet.
All right, Jesus.
The last thing that I want to say that will happen, I think the last shot from that trailer.
Yeah. Where
they're standing and he appears to be holding a shovel and he's covered in blood.
Oh, that's the death of Professor X.
Why would you show that in the trailer?
Yeah, that's pretty clear. I agree with you on all points except for the fact that I bet you Logan has been caring for Professor X this whole time.
No way. No chance.
Because there's that shot of him in the water tower in a bed.
Sure, but that's probably him. They probably make it to somewhere.
No, well, that just randomly has a hospital bed in the water tower?
Yes. I mean, at minimum, there's a hospital bed, and Logan puts it in a water.
I think this is what I think. I think whatever has caused this post-apocalyptic world or whatever, Logan and Professor X have survived. Professor X is going senile, and Logan has been caring for him this whole time, and Professor X, somehow senses this girl out there.
Sure.
And says, Logan...
Maybe Cerebro?
Yeah.
He gets Cerebro up and running?
Which maybe it's not in the water tower. He might be... those big shots of him...
It might be two different scenes.
It seems like it might be Cerebro.
Oh.
First, you know what I mean? When I first saw the trailer, I was like, is he inside Cerebro?
Well, there's a shot of him as well in a what do they call that? Sensory deprivation.
Yeah. So that's what I think is going to happen.
All right.
That's what I figured.
Do you think they will have the balls to have Logan kill the X-Men?
No. I think that has happened over time. I think whatever organization is going after this kid is what killed the X-Men.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be like a Days of Future Past where it was like a giant battle happened and we lost and now we're on the run or something. I think it's going to be one of these things where this was started by the government and they just picked us off one by one. And so they're the last refugees of this slow genocide, essentially, that he's just out in the wilderness. Not in the wilderness, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Out in that desert place.
Yeah. And
it's just been him and Professor X. And Professor X is going senile, and he's got to take care of him. That's kind of what I've gathered from it. I'm not harping on this again, but the tone of this to me looks really interesting. Like I said, it doesn't look like an X-Men movie.
I agree.
There's those beautiful shots of them around what looks like a dinner table. And
yes.
I saw that shot and I was like, I've seen that type of shot in every Oscar trailer.
It reminded me of was it 10 Cloverfield? 10 Cloverfield.
Oh, yeah. But even so, I've seen that type of... it was almost like an August Osage County type shot. You know what I mean? There seems to be a really...
Like a family drama.
A family drama. There seems to be an actual heart to this.
Yes.
And that's why I said, it's interesting that of a 2.5-minute trailer... 3, maybe 4 scenes of it are actually of
action.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of cars driving. There's the tracking, shots of them doing the chase in the truck. That's the most actiony it gets.
Yeah.
In this trailer, which I found really, really fascinating. Yeah. Any other thoughts on the trailer?
I do, but I need to look up who he's playing because I can't remember his character's name.
Logan.
Oh,
Wolverine is his character's name. Oh, are you talking about the guy with the hand?
No.
What are you talking about?
We got our first look at Stephen Merchant as Caliban.
Is that the guy in the scarves?
Yeah, he's wearing a hat and goggles, and he has a scarf on. So Caliban was in Apocalypse, but he was played by a different actor. I don't know who. But his power, he was the guy who... Remember when Jennifer Lawrence... Remember when Mystique went into the club to get Nightcrawler and Angel, and there's the guy who could be like, hey, you've got a power.
Yes.
His power is that he can sense people with mutant abilities from some sort of radius, and he can pinpoint where they are. He can feel it. And Stephen Merchant is playing him in this. And I don't know if you're familiar with Stephen Merchant.
The Ricky Gervais Stephen Merchant?
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, there's this guy named Stephen Merchant who's been very good friends with Ricky Gervais and does a lot of shows with him. He's probably most known for the show Idiot Abroad, where I don't even remember who the guy is who goes out there, but they send this dumb friend of theirs to famous places.
Stop you right there. I'm going to say that for those of you who don't know, Stephen Merchant is probably best known for being the co-creator of The Office.
Okay, but as a face... That's really what I mean. You might recognize him, the most likely to recognize him from An Idiot Abroad, though if you don't know him as the co-creator of The Office, you probably won't know. You probably haven't seen that show. He was also the voice of Wesley? I gotta look it up now. But he's the voice of the little robot in Portal 2. It's not Wesley, but it's a name like Wesley.
Winthrop.
Nope. Portal 2.
Winchester.
Wheatley. He's the voice of Wheatley, and he actually is hysterical in that game, if anyone hasn't played it.
William?
It's Wheatley. The very first thing you do... Hear me out.
Okay. Wallace.
William Wallace, that's right. So the very first thing you do is...
Western?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Just stop me when I get the right one. My computer's going to die.
I know, I thought you were going to be like... Samuel. But no, so for those of you who don't know, the one of the very first scenes in, I think, Portal 2 is this robot coming and waking you up from cryogenic stasis, and he's like, okay, let's see let's see if you've got all your faculties about you. I don't want to, make you scared or anything. I don't want to scare you, but there's a very small chance that you may have some very serious brain damage. And he's like, okay, so first thing you do, just tell me your name. And it says to tell your name, press spacebar, and spacebar is the jump button. So you just jump, and he's like, close enough, come on.
That's great.
Really, really funny stuff.
That's awesome.
But he's playing this character of Caliban.
That's interesting. I was wondering who that person was, and I had no idea.
He's like albino. He looks like powder.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think they should just have him play powder.
I can't believe you came here without your computer charged.
It was charged at 100% when I left the house.
I don't believe you.
I don't care. Oh, because I've been charging this thing like a jackass. That's why.
Out of it?
Fuck me. Well,
unplug it. What are you doing?
Well, at least this is at 79. Anyway, that's not the point. But yeah, so I think this looks... We should wrap this up anyway, and we could get on to reading assignments.
We could do half of it in my computer as well, and I'm going to splice them together.
I think
that would be a better idea since you only have 3% left.
Fair point.
So let's just get as far as we can.
Okay.
Actually, we should save it, right? Because if it just shuts down, it's going to be gone forever.
Okay.
So let's do that and then move into there.
All right. Hold on.
All right, that looks pretty good.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're talking about Stephen Merchant.
Yes.
Is in it.
Playing Caliban. He's
playing Caliban. He has an interesting power. I'm sure he will be used by the government to find X-23.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely looks like a villainous character.
Now, if they want to have some guts, I would like Caliban to fight a senile Charles Xavier.
That seems like I don't want to say an obvious matchup, because it sounds pretty brilliant coming out of your mouth. But yeah, that seems like it's a logical matchup.
And we'll see if that happens.
I mean, there's that shot of some sort of bright light happening, and I can't tell if it's Charles Xavier that looks to be in the foreground of that shot. Do you know what I mean? I can't. It's a bald head of some kind.
I barely remember.
But
Caliban also has a bald head.
Yeah, so I couldn't tell if that was actually a shot of Stephen Merchant.
A lot of bald-headed mutants happening.
I mean, it's a lot of stress being a mutant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Any last thoughts on the trailer before we move on?
Looks pretty good.
It does look really good. Actually, this is the most excited I've been about an X-Men movie in a good while.
Probably, I think I was more excited for Days of Future Past and even First Class, and even, actually, to be honest, even Apocalypse. But that might be a good sign that this is actually...
I'm definitely more excited about this than Apocalypse.
See, I was more excited for Apocalypse, and then it wasn't a letdown, but I was like, no, okay.
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling Apocalypse was... I knew just from the trailer Apocalypse was going to be fine.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I know exactly what's going to happen.
Well, the problem with Apocalypse, and not to digress too much, is that it's the only one of the X-Men movies we've watched so far that you can take out and there's no difference.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So do you want to move on to reading assignments?
Yes, let's do reading assignments.
So why don't you start this time? Because I think usually I start.
Okay.
I gave you
yes.
one Scott Pilgrim.
Yes.
Did you read any of it?
I read all of it.
What'd you think?
I loved Scott Pilgrim.
Isn't it amazing?
I've known about Scott Pilgrim for a while. I never read any of Scott Pilgrim, but I've known the character for a while.
Did you see the movie?
I did see the movie, and I was struck by how... I will say this, and some people don't like that movie. I, as someone who didn't read the comics, really liked it.
I've never met someone who's seen the movie and didn't like it.
Really? Because somebody said... I guess maybe the critics panned it a little bit.
Critics did pan it. It made almost
really
no money.
Yes,
the opening weekend, it made $10 million.
Yeah, but it's really good. And I was struck by... I haven't seen it in years, but I do remember, like, oh, these are specific moments. Like, they were very faithful to that.
I mean, Edgar Wright. It's just another tell of Edgar Wright being a genius.
Right. That being said, I really, really was... It wasn't just an enjoyable read. This is one of those reads that I was actually, like, at times really moved by it.
Yeah.
It
really brings you in.
First of all, I love how unapologetic it is about its own world.
Yep.
It just says, we're in a video game world. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't say that up front. You just find it out as you go along.
Yep.
And... like with the subspace pathways and everything like that. And that's the world we live in, and you're just going to go with it.
I actually think that was one of the problems with the movie is they don't really address the subspace pathways. Right. It happens maybe once, I think, and no one mentions it.
But it plays so heavily into the story, into the emotional fabric of the story, which is really interesting. But aside from that, or just on top of that, he is able to capture...
He being Brian Lee O'Malley.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is able to capture the tone of what it's like to be a teenager or a young person just trying to figure out the world. And just figure out... these larger emotions.
And it really feels like the world is against you, hence Scott Pilgrim versus the world, Scott Pilgrim versus the universe.
Yeah. But just the idea of dating and falling in love.
I'm just trying to figure out what is the right thing.
What is the right thing, and what type of person you want to be. Mm-hmm. And you have these decisions that it will set who you are as a person for the rest of your life. Yes. And you have, so I was really, like I said, on top of the fun action of it, and this is one of those things I like to think of like a candy comic, and I don't mean that lightly. I mean that it's such an easy breezy read. I can just plow through it. It's such a quick read, but at the same time there is such a beautiful essence to it. Yeah, that I was, like I said, there were really a lot of times where I actually got choked up at one or two times.
Yeah, it's
between
really
him and Ramona.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's really beautifully written and poetically written in a lot of ways. I think he also captured a really great tone with his dialogue. Mm-hmm. It's a heightened dialogue, but at the same time, it's not so heightened that it's
not detached.
It's not detached. I know kids who talk like this or did talk like this. I was one of those kids in some aspects,
and most importantly, even if there aren't people, even if it's not a normal way of speaking, the emotion is clear.
Yes, it's very clear. And he built that world so beautifully. I come from a place kind of like that where it's it's not a small town, but it's not linked to a large metropolitan area.
Right.
There's not a lot to do.
Mm-hmm.
You go to this restaurant or you go to that restaurant, and that's pretty much it. There's the mall, and there's these people, and there's cliques of groups. I come from that place. I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And he's able to really capture that feeling of, I'm stuck in my hometown. I don't know what I want to do with the rest of my life. I don't know what the rest of my life holds for me or what my possibilities are. and where do I just go from there?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think Brian Lee O'Malley is one of my favorite comic writers, and I've got a book he did shortly after he made. Actually, I think it was well after he made Scott Pilgrim, but shortly after the movie came out, he made a book called Seconds that I'm going to recommend. I'm going to assign to you eventually. I think it's better. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim is great, though. Fun fact about that and the movie is that the sixth and final book was not written when that movie came out, and Brian Lee O'Malley didn't know the direction he wanted to go, which is why, if you watch the movie,
right.
I remember the first time I watched it, I didn't know what Scott Pilgrim was. And we got to the end, and I was like, that was fine.
Right.
It was a little weird. It disjointed. I didn't quite understand it. It's because Brian Lee O'Malley was unsure whether he wanted Scott to go back to Knives or end up with Ramona. So they left it open until he made a final decision. They filmed 2 different scenes, and right before the movie dropped, Brian Lee O'Malley was like, this is the one, this is the one.
Yeah.
And it ended up being very different from the movie, but he ended up being with Ramona.
I forget, in the movie, does he end up being with Ramona?
Yes, he does, because at the very last minute, Brian Lee O'Malley was like, okay, I figured out how this movie ends. It's not the way you filmed it, but you filmed one where he ends up with Knives Chow and one where he ends up with Ramona Flowers. Right. He ends up with Ramona Flowers, so go with that one. But everything until that point, like there's a very awkward scene where he beats the main bad guy in the movie aside with Knives, and they have like a very sort of romantic moment together, and then he ends up with Ramona. It feels very strange.
Okay.
But the I guess I won't spoil the ending for people who haven't seen it, or haven't read it. But the end of the book it's so
beautiful.
Powerful.
It's so great. It really is.
Yeah.
And I feel the other thing is I feel for every one of those characters.
Well, and I was going to say as well, I'm glad you brought that up, that the movie does not a great job of rounding out the characters of, say, Kim or Stephen or young Neil.
Right.
But in the book, these are all very...
Because you get 6 volumes of it. It really is. I mean, you know, you don't just feel for Scott. You don't just feel for Ramona. I felt for Knives a lot.
Yeah.
And later on,
she's just a young kid.
Young Neil.
Yeah, dude.
Comes in, who is just a tangential character.
Well, there's a great,
first 3 volumes.
In the movie, Kim has maybe like 3 or 4 lines. She's just the drummer in the band.
Yeah.
She has a whole backstory with Scott, and there's a great moment that I just love where they bring up his ex-girlfriend, who is a celebrity now, and she goes, "Oh, your ex?" And then the scene continues, and then it cuts back to her, and she sinks down into a chair and says, "I saw her on the cover of Now magazine." And then it cuts back to the rest of the scene, whatever's happening, and then it cuts back to her a third time, and she sinks her face into her knees, and she's like, she's really pretty.
Yeah.
Like, really beautiful, just stabbing you in the heart.
And that's what I mean. He
moments.
captures that tone of being of having that angst of being a teenager or a young person and not being totally in control of how you feel.
Having self-confidence issues.
Yeah, having all of those issues of being young and trying to kind of enter into an adult world and not really knowing how to navigate these waters and not knowing how to navigate these emotions that are going on. He captures it really beautifully to the point that like I said, I remember feeling this way when I was younger and like still connect with it. It's still one of those visceral things that when you read it, you instantly go back to exactly where you were at that age.
It's so universal.
It is. It really is universal, which is great. So yeah, I love it. It was such a fantastic read. I
actually have it still in the cellophane somewhere around here down there.
Nice.
Yeah, got it at Comic-Con.
Ooh, fancy.
I know.
Yeah, so for your reading assignment, I gave you to catch up with the rest of The Flash.
Yes, it was just the last 2 episodes, which are the first 2 episodes of the third season.
There was a third episode. I will not count it because it happened in between.
Well, yeah, you said I had to watch the first 2 episodes of season 3.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, fun thing about this, I've been watching The Flash. So every day this week I've had a moment where I'm like, oh shit, did I forget to read whatever my assignment was? Because it's just something I've been watching anyway, and I'm like, what did he assign? I don't remember what it was. Yeah. And there was a time period where like 3 days in a row, I was like, what the fuck did he give me? Did I lose it? And then I was like, oh yeah, that's right. So you had me, I think my first reading assignment was Flashpoint, right?
It's one of them.
One of them, yeah. So I like it. There were a lot of problems with the second season, and I think that the third season is doing a much better job already with 2 episodes. I mean, Tom Felton, who plays Draco Malfoy,
Oh yes,
is
Okay.
is a great addition.
Yes.
I'm glad he's there. He's
I'm
really
interested to
interesting.
see where his character is going. I
Me too.
swear to God, if he turns out to be alchemy, I'll be pissed because it's such an obvious
It is
thing.
very obvious. So
Though they usually do a pretty good job of not
Yeah.
making the obvious choice.
yes,
And kind of doing a red herring.
yes,
They're really good at
do
red
a pretty
herrings
good
on
job
that
of
show. Pun not intended. Pun intended. Fuck it. But red herring.
Did you intend it though?
Didn't intend it. I do now.
But okay, good. Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm still having the same kind of problem where I'm like, okay, well, I don't really see how what changed affected all of the things that have been affected.
yeah.
It's fine. I mean, it's sort of small. I'm really interested to see a third Tom Cavanaugh.
Oh, but he's not going to be... Okay. You have not seen the third episode.
Not yet.
So...
But we have two Tom Cavanaughs. One, he plays Harrison Wells, who
Yes.
has been taken over
Yes.
by Eobard Thawne.
Yes.
The next one is Tom Cavanaugh playing Harrison Wells from another
Earth 2.
Earth.
Yes.
I really want to see a Tom Cavanaugh where he is just the regular Wells from Earth 1.
I will tell you this.
I know he comes from Earth 2
I
in the
will
next
tell you
episode,
this.
right?
Okay, yeah. I was
Yeah,
going to say,
that was
Tom
in the
Cavanaugh
preview.
is in the next episode.
Yeah, he was in the preview.
Yeah,
for that.
which I just watched today.
Yeah.
So...
I guess there's a potential for 4 then, because he's technically a third Wells in this one, right? Because he's the alternate timeline of Earth 2. So
I
there's
don't want to spoil it, because they explain what... They explain the
but
idea.
there's in theory there could be 4 before that episode. Before that episode.
Yes, but wait, before
the episode.
Flashpoint?
Before the third episode.
Yes and no. Let me just put it that way. Yes and no.
All right. I mean, having watched the first episode and the second episode,
Right.
you wouldn't think that there could be 4 different
There would
Harrison
be Earth
Wells.
2 Harrison Wells. There would be pre-Flashpoint Harrison Wells. There would be I see what... There would be
So there's
Earth 2
two Earth
Harrison
2s.
Wells. There would be the Harrison Wells that was killed by... Let me
do this a lot easier.
Jeez.
Earth 2 Harrison Wells as we know him from season 2.
Season 2, yes.
Then there would be the alternate timeline Earth 2 Harrison Wells.
Oh, the Flashpoint Harrison
Right.
Wells?
From Earth 2. In
Okay.
theory.
That...
I know. I already know. I'm nearly certain I already know what they do.
Okay.
But for the sake of not having seen the third episode,
Okay.
you would... Never mind. Let's just
No,
move
I
on.
know. I have now.
All right.
Now that I gather where
All
you
right,
got
all
the
right.
fourth one from,
Yes.
I understand.
Because
what
there's
you're
2
saying.
different Harrison Welleses,
on
and
Earth
we
1
could
because there
potentially
was one that was killed, and then there was the one that was.
we could potentially have double the Harrison Welleses because of the timeline.
Okay. All right. I see what you're saying. I will not spoil it for you.
Right.
Watch the third episode because that's not your reading, but,
Right,
but just
right.
watch it anyway.
Cisco Ramon is getting more and more annoying to me. So is
Caitlin Snow.
Yeah.
They're just giving her like she just becomes more nervous throughout the series.
Well,
I
I really can't stand when they do the overdramatic stuff. Like when Caitlin Snow, it looks like she's turning into Killer Frost.
Right.
And she, when that actress played Killer Frost, and she's like, "Oh, hello," I can't get behind that. And Cisco is also like, "Hello," and I'm like, just stop.
Because normally his characters, I really like his character.
I sort of do. There are things about his character that I really can't stand.
Yeah.
He wears Big Bang Theory shirts, which I just can't get behind.
It's
It's like Peter Parker using Bing.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
But it's fine. Like his jokes, Cisco has the guy who plays Cisco, I can never remember his name.
I can't remember his
But
name.
he has fantastic comedic timing.
Yeah, no, he's great. The actor's really great, and I think that's why that's what's endearing about the character is that they actually have an actor that is really good at what they're giving him to do.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, Caitlin Snow's character, they don't
know how to write women on that show. That's another classic DC problem, because she started as just a mopey, my boyfriend died character, and they just brought it up every episode so they could hammer it in just so they could bring back Robbie.
Right.
And that's the only reason. And that really
And then they killed
bothers
him
me.
again.
Yeah.
And then she was
he flew away and then came back like 5 episodes later, and then they killed him.
Yeah,
like,
but
she
and then,
keeps having,
and then she was like,
with
"Oh,
Zoom.
now I'm sad, but now I'm happy again." And then she was with Zoom.
What's his
and
face?
Then,
yeah. What's his fake real name?
Jay. It wasn't Jay Garrick.
Well, no, but his fake real
his
name.
fake real name is Jay Garrick.
Yeah.
The original, the Golden Age Flash.
Right. Which, by the way, I mean, it's not technically season 3. I think it's the end of season 2. But great having the original Flash be the actual original Flash.
I know. I mean, I will say this: the nods, the Easter eggs in that show are really great.
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill, which, by the way, did you notice the part where Mark Hamill says, "I am your father"?
Yeah, I
which
did.
is great. It gets such a like that episode alone gets so meta with Mark Hamill.
Yeah,
it's kind of unbelievable.
Really good. Did that actor, by the way? I don't know his name, but the guy who plays Barry Allen's father,
John Wesley Shipp.
Did he play?
He played Barry Allen.
Oh, okay. So he didn't play Jay Garrick.
That was the thing, is that originally when he was cast, that was the amazing thing, is that John Wesley Shipp played Barry Allen in the 90s.
But I was wondering if
now
he played...
he's playing the father of the Flash. So knowing that, it kind of makes those scenes when he, in season 1, when he's in jail, and he's talking to Barry about being a hero.
Yeah.
And the power that comes with it, and the hardships that come with that.
Yeah.
It kind of makes it more poignant, because you're going, this is one actor who knows what it's like to be the lead on a show and to carry that responsibility and play this character.
Yeah.
Telling another actor,
handing it to him.
I get what you're going through, and it's going to be tough sometimes, and it's going to be hard, and it's a lot of responsibility for a young person to have.
There's a great moment, too, where he realizes that his son is the Flash and says, well, if my son was the Flash. And there's a really great twinkle in his eye when he says that.
I know, and I remember that scene specifically because I almost wept during that scene.
It's very
not only because it's beautifully done, just if you don't know the inside story to it, but knowing that extra little tidbit, just makes it even more poignant. There was another nod. Oh, in the 3rd season, they've changed the chief. Is it the chief or the commissioner or whatever?
Yeah,
the head of the
yeah.
That guy is also in the original Flash series. Yeah,
because I was gonna say they bring in the actual chief. He's like an undercover pimp or something, and or he's like trying to hide as a pimp, and they haul him in.
But they the new guy, the black guy that they have now, he was in the original show. Barry Allen's friend on the original show.
I was going to ask if he was Wally West.
No, but that would have been amazing.
I like that Kid Flash is in the 3rd season. Yep. Wally West is great. That guy they got is a great actor.
Mm-hmm. You can't go wrong with what's his name from Law and Order.
Oh my God, Jesse L. Martin is just outrageously good.
He's so good.
He is,
and the fact that they got him to sing in the one episode in the second season.
So Tom Cavanaugh and Jesse L. Martin, I'll be honest, if they weren't in the show, I wouldn't come back.
Yeah, no, I get that.
It's hard for me to sit through a lot of the stuff, but they are consistently great.
Yeah, Grant Gustin is also just charismatic.
He's good.
I think he's
right in the middle. I think that he never does anything that I think is not good, but he never does anything that I'm like, wow, good for you, man.
I think the only thing that holds him back is that they're writing for a CW show.
Agreed.
I think if they really had a push for
But I also think he doesn't have the chops that Jesse L. Martin has. Jesse L. Martin
he certainly doesn't. But he will age into that.
Yes, I agree.
That's what I mean. I think he has that raw potential.
But there are scenes that Jesse L. Martin has that are 2 or 3 seconds long, and you just want to cry for him.
Well, yeah, because you watch Jesse L. Martin walk in with all of
all the weight,
20 to 30 years of Broadway and screen presence. But yeah, this season. I mean, do you think this season has a great potential? Do you think it's going to be meh? All
right.
What do you think?
Here's this season's maximum potential.
Okay.
He goes back in time to fix everything, and what would have been the new 52 becomes the DCEU.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I don't think they would do it, but that's how they can fix this problem that they've dug themselves into.
Right.
Just do it. Just mix the two together. We want to see these characters. I want to see Ezra Miller meet Grant. I want to see them meet.
Yeah, if you're going to say that they're two different dimensions and you already introduced the multiverse.
Yes.
Yeah, just say, you don't even, it'd be enough for me if they but in this early on, if they don't meet, we just acknowledge.
Yeah.
Like, a portal, he always runs through the time stream and they have those things.
Yeah.
Let's see a shot of Man of Steel. That's
sure.
it. That's all I need. You know what I mean?
I really like as well that they got Eobard Thawne to come. That he had a pretty substantial role.
Yeah.
I don't know that actor, but
I don't know either, but I really like him.
Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah, and I hope they bring
because
him back
he was such an important character, but the actor was almost not in any of it.
But every time he's
Harrison
in it,
Wells.
he's really good.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. Cool.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
What do you got for me?
All right, so this week I have for you. It's actually a very short read. I have kind of a two-prong.
Like I've written the entire thing on my hand.
Yep, I have a two-prong approach to your next two reading assignments. They're both Batman stories. I'm not going to tell you what the second one is now. That's a much longer one. First one is a one-issue Batman story. It is issue number 1 of a line called Batman Gotham Knights. Knights.
Should I write this down?
No, I will give it to you. I'll give it to you. Well, this is one of my. It's like I said, it's a one-issue shot. It's one of my favorite Batman stories.
Okay.
It's a kind of a classic mystery whodunit.
The Joker gets cancer.
The Joker gets cancer, and there's no fighting in it whatsoever. No, it's a one-issue shot, and it's a classic whodunit of somebody gets killed, and they're trying to figure it out. And
you really like those, and I'm glad because every single one of those that you've given me has been fantastic.
Yeah, this one, I have a feeling you're pretty smart about these things, so I have a feeling you'll see the twist at the end.
That is
coming,
literally the nicest thing you've ever said about me.
And I'll never say it again, and I want you to cut this part out of the episode.
I'm just going to make the episode this on repeat for an hour.
I have a feeling you might see the twist coming, but even so, there is... I'm trying to talk about it without talking about it because I don't want to give it away.
All right.
There's a twist in it that you go, oh, that's good.
All right.
And there's a reason to it. So it's really, it's a good read.
Has he been dead the whole time?
Yeah.
Were the plants actually killing people?
Yeah, they were. And Batman does this really awful Boston accent.
Was the village actually in modern times?
I mean, isn't it always?
M. Night Shyamalan was the devil in the elevator all along.
Yeah, you'll probably... Is that the twist in
I
that
haven't
movie?
seen that.
Okay.
I just presume. He's the devil in all of his movies.
Yeah.
So.
You'll probably be done reading it by the time I leave here today.
We'll see.
It's pretty
I'm probably not going to start tonight. It's pretty late. But what's the two-prong? You're going to give me another one later?
It's two Batman stories. They're two really good Batman stories. This one I was like, this is a one shot. I can give him this one for this for this week and it'll be real quick. And then the other one is like a longer thing. As soon as I say what it is next week, you'll be like, oh, I know what you're talking about. But
okay.
That's kind of my two-prong approach.
All right. So this is actually interesting. We probably won't meet before Halloween, right?
No,
Halloween is a Monday,
yes,
so we
is.
probably won't meet that day. I mean, we might.
I have no idea.
I don't have friends,
yeah.
We'll see if we're doing anything.
So we're probably going to do this, but each dressed up in an awkwardly hot costume.
Or we'll just not dress up and say we are.
Yeah, that's true too.
Who's to say?
Yeah.
So I actually got you a Batman story as well.
Woo!
Sort of.
Okay.
It's called Dark Knight, a true Batman story.
I know the story.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
We've
very
talked about
excited to read it.
Yep. So that's what I got for you.
Excellent.
It's a real story about Paul Dini and his experiences working with Warner Brothers.
That's right. And Paul Dini is famously the creator of Batman the Animated Series.
I don't know that he's the creator.
Well,
he worked on the team that created it.
Yes. I shouldn't say he's the creator as if he's
I think he was the head writer.
He was the head writer. I mean, he's the biggest influence that you can come out of that besides Bruce
And
Timm
he
and
worked
his
on a
art.
bunch of other stuff too, like Tiny Toons.
He's famous
Animaniacs,
because he ended up creating Harley Quinn
Right.
out of the Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the story is about him, his working on Batman. It's also, I've heard interviews about him talking about this experience. It's also about him being mugged and having to deal with that emotional experience.
It is, not to spoil anything, it is mostly about that.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to read this.
Yeah.
This is
all right,
awesome.
great.
Cool.
So we got that.
That's going to be about it.
Hey,
right?
Chris. Hey,
Yeah?
Chris.
Hey.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, what's up?
Where can they find us?
Oh, God. Okay, I can name the things that we're at, but I don't know if I can actually name the addresses. Search for us on YouTube.
Right.
You can watch us there. You can subscribe to us on iTunes. That's always great. If you want to even do us even better, give us a nice review.
Sure.
SoundCloud. Also, subscribe to us there. Same thing. Patreon.
Yep.
What's the address at Patreon?
Patreon.com/The Media Lunch Break.
There you
And it's
go.
the same as SoundCloud. SoundCloud.com/The Media Lunch Break.
There you go. Throw in a few bucks. Help us keep this going.
Yeah, throw us some singles.
Yep. We have.
I meant money, by the way, not people.
I mean, listen, if we have a few extra hands to help out, then maybe we don't need as much money.
Well, I guess. I don't know that they have to be single in that case, though.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if they have significant others and you want to throw them at us, you have to throw them as a couple.
Whatever, as long as they're willing to work.
Yeah.
So you got 4.
So
You're halfway there.
Okay.
You skipped an obvious one.
I'm getting to it. Hold on.
Okay.
Our website.
Yep.
Is it themedialunchbreak.com?
It is. Everything is The Media Lunch Break except Twitter.
Well, now you just spoiled one of them.
I didn't say what it is.
We're on Twitter at Media Lunch Break. That's 6.
Yep.
Let's see. We also have email.
Yep.
That is themedialunchbreak@gmail.com.
Sure is. And here's the one that I said was obvious that I don't think you knew you missed.
Give me a second. I've said the website. That one's
There's 2 that always go together, and you skipped one.
Oh, shit. Hold on. What did I miss?
Pooping?
Yeah.
So you said iTunes.
I said SoundCloud.
Yes, you said SoundCloud.
Yeah.
There are 2 that go together, and it's not iTunes and SoundCloud. SoundCloud.
Google Play
Music.
Google Play Music.
The one, don't worry, everyone else forgets it as well.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only one on
It's
it.
because I have an iPhone, so I don't ever care.
And that's it. That's all of us. I'm gonna murder you.
Yeah.
And take all your comics.
Yeah. Subscribe to us on Google Play as well if you're one of those losers. Listen to an Android. I shouldn't really call people who might listen to us losers. I just realized that.
That's true. There's like a 40% chance, I think.
Yeah, whatever. All right, that's gonna do it for this week, right?
Mm-hmm. That's all we got.
All right, come back next week. We'll have
We'll talk about something.
Yeah, hopefully something in the news will happen. We can actually talk about that. I really like the idea of trying to plot out the Boba Fett woman movie.
That might be a good idea.
I think that's a good one.
I think that's our backup. The same way we had the Flash backup that we didn't end up using.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Until we're gonna do the Boba Fett woman movie until Guardians of the Galaxy 2 trailer comes out, and then we're just gonna talk about that the whole time.
Every week, we're gonna do that. What if there never comes a day where there's a trailer? We're just gonna keep doing.
No,
that
I meant
every
we're just
episode?
gonna every week talk about the Guardians of the Galaxy 2
Oh,
trailer.
okay, got it.
Even after
That's
the
a
movie
good
comes out.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Cool. That's gonna do it for us, guys.
Yes.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Go away.